Hello Hawks, this is Coach Pentecost. Today I'm going to be taking you through our base formation and alignment rules. The rule for our X alignment is that you're always going to be away from the call and then on the ball. In all four of our 3x1 formations, tray, trio, trips, and bunch, the X is the solo wide receiver to the backside and a 2-point wide receiver stance. In our 2x2 formations of hawk and slot, you're going to remain the backside number 1 wide receiver in a 2-point wide receiver stance. In black, you're still going to be the backside number 1 wide receiver, but now you are off the ball. And in stack, the X will reduce his split with the H stacked directly behind him. In pro, the X is in his usual alignment, while in flank, the X has his hand in the dirt as an inline tight end. Next, let's talk about the rules for the Y alignment. The Y aligns to the call on the ball. He'll usually align as an inline tight end with his hand in the dirt, but will occasionally split out wide in a 2-point wide receiver stance. In tray, the Y aligns as a tight end to the call side. In trio, the Y also aligns as the tight end to the call side. In trips, the Y splits out in a wide receiver stance. And in bunch, the Y is the point man for the bunch, once again in a 2-point wide receiver stance. In hawk, slot, and black, the Y aligns normally as a tight end with his hand in the dirt. In stack, the Y aligns wide as a wide receiver with the Z stacked behind him. In both pro and flank, the Y aligns as a call side tight end. Now let's talk about alignments for the Z. The Z aligns to the call, off the ball, in a 2-point wide receiver stance. In tray, trio, and trips, the Z aligns as the outside wide receiver in a 2-point stance. In bunch, the Z aligns as the outside player in the bunch. In hawk, slot, and black, the Z aligns normally, and then in stack, the Z is going to stack behind the Y. In both pro and flank, the Z just aligns normally. The F has the simplest alignment. In every base formation, the F aligns away from the call, next to the quarterback, with his heels even with the QB toes. The F's alignment is simple in every 3x1 formation. The F's alignment remains simple in every 2x2 formation. And the F continues to align in the same spot, away from the call, next to the quarterback, heels even with the toes of the quarterback. Finally, we have the alignment rules for the H. The H's alignment varies by formation, but he's almost always off the ball. In all of our 3x1 formations, the H will align to the call side as the number 2 wide receiver, with the exception of bunch, where he will be the inside player. In tray, the H aligns off the hip of the Y in a 2-point stance. In trio, the H aligns out in a 2-point wide receiver stance, which can be remembered because of the O in trio, standing for out. In trips, the H remains outside, splitting the difference between the Z and the Y. In bunch, the H aligns as the inside man in the bunch. In all 2x2 formations, the H aligns to the backside as the number 2 eligible player. In hawk, the H aligns in a 2-point wide receiver stance. In slot, the H aligns in a 2-point balance stance off the hip of the tackle. In black, the H aligns just outside the tackle, on the line with his hand in the dirt. And in stack, the H aligns stacked behind the X. In both pro and flank, the H aligns to the call, next to the quarterback, with his heels even with the toes of the quarterback. Now let's look at our primary formations. Each player should be comfortable with every alignment for tray, trio, pro, and hawk. The majority of our plays will be run from these 4 formations. Remember, you can't perform at a high level until you can align quickly.